Welcome to e-learning course on basic thermodynamics session fundamental concepts and definitions related to basic thermodynamics. Myself Ramesh Beer, assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Jain Institute of Technology, Davangere. To start with, we'll have definition to thermodynamics. The word thermodynamics can be written as thermo as well as dynamics. Thermo is a Greek word which means heat. Dynamic means a force. Thermodynamics can also be defined as the science which deals with energy interaction and its effect on the state or condition of a system. It pertains to study of interaction of system and surroundings which relates the changes with the system undergoes. Energy and its transformations, where all aspects of energy conversion, energy exchange, energy transfer, and energy savings are considered. Engineering thermodynamics can be defined as a science which deals with design and analysis of energy conversion devices such as power plant which develops shaft power from heat, as well as some other examples where thermodynamic definition is applied are refrigerators, heat pump, air conditioners, heat exchangers, nozzles, diffusers, etc. It also studies the properties of various substances used in these devices. Further, we see the importance of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics derives its strength from experimental observations. These observations are formulated into four different laws which are known as zeroth law, first law, second law, and third law. The zeroth law of thermodynamics deals with thermal equilibrium concept of equality of temperature, and provides a means for measuring temperature. So these are the three important aspects related to zeroth law of thermodynamics. With respect to first law of thermodynamics, it pertains to conservation of energy and introduces a concept of internal energy. The first law of thermodynamics is based on conservation of energy, and a concept of internal energy will be introduced when defining the first law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics relates the direction of flow of heat. It also indicates conversion of heat into work with limits, and it gives introduction to the concept of entropy. The third law of thermodynamics defines absolute zero of entropy. So these are the laws based on logical reasoning and experimental observations and doesn't have any mathematical proof. The application of thermodynamic laws and principles are found in all fields of energy technology, notably in steam and nuclear power plant, internal combustion engines, gas turbines, air conditioning, refrigeration, gas dynamics, jet propulsion, compressors, chemical process plants, direct energy conversion devices, etc. Moving further, we see now thermodynamic system. A thermodynamic system is defined as a quantity of matter or a region in a space upon which attention is focused for thermodynamic study. Everything external to the system is called as surrounding or the environment. The system is separated from the surrounding by the system boundary as shown in figure. The boundary may be either fixed or movable. A system and its surrounding together constitute a universe. Thermodynamic systems are distinguished into three classes, namely closed system, open system, and isolated system. Now we see one by one. The first type of thermodynamic system is closed system. So figure shows a representation of a closed system. In a system, if mass is fixed or if there is no mass transfer across the system and the surrounding and only energy transfer takes place, we can call it as a closed system. For example, a certain quantity of fluid in a cylinder bounded by a piston constitutes a closed system. The fluid or gas is heated, its temperature increases and the piston will rise. The boundary of the system moves as the piston rises. Heat and work crosses the boundary of the system during the process, but the matter that comprises the system is fixed. The second system is open system. Open system is the one in which matter crosses the boundary. There may be energy transfer in or out of the system. Most of the engineering devices are generally open system, for example, a steam turbine or an air compressor. The third system is an isolated system. It is one in which there is no interaction of either mass or energy between the system and the surrounding. It is of fixed mass and energy. We can make use of this pictorial representation of different types of systems. The first diagram shows a closed system, a open system. The second diagram is going to show a closed system, and the third one is a isolated system. In open system, you can observe here the mass is not fixed, so there will be a mass interaction in the form of vapors as you go on heat the liquid which is present inside this jar. So there is a mass transfer from the system to the surrounding in the form of vapors. You can see with the droplet shown here. So there is a mass interaction, and there is also an energy interaction in the form of heat. So as the mass and energy both are interacting with the system and the surrounding, so we can say this kind of system as a closed system. And in the second picture, you can observe a lid is used over the jar or which closes the jar, and there is no mass interaction here as the vapor droplets are accumulated inside the system itself, and there is a energy interaction here. So what we can say here, energy interaction takes place between the system and the surrounding, but there is no mass interaction. And for isolated system, you can see a insulator is provided, or the system is placed inside a insulating chamber, so there is no energy interaction as well as mass interaction. In that case, we can say it as a isolated system. So moving further, we see some of the examples. The first figure or the picture represents a isolated system where no mass transfer and no energy transfer is taking place. And in the second system, we can observe a energy transfer in the form of heat is taking place to the surrounding, so you can call it as a closed system. And in the third one, so water vapors are going out and coming into the jar, as well as there is a heat exchange between the system and the surrounding. So for that reason, you can say this one as an open system. So the example for isolated system will be a thermo bottle with lid screwed on tight. So as you do this, so there will not be any mass transfer or as well as energy transfer as the lid is screwed on tight. So for closed system, you can see a cup of soup with a lid. So there may be energy transfer because the soup is hot. So energy transfer takes place from the soup to the surrounding because of temperature difference. But mass transfer doesn't take place. So the soup which is inside the cup will not come outside as you have closed with a lid. So you can say it as a cup of soup with a lid is a closed system. And in the third picture, you can see a soup. So vapors are coming out of the soup, and there is some kind of food present here, which can be used to eat by dipping into the soup, or there is a pepper mill. So you can add pepper to the soup. So as that there is a mass interaction between the pepper mill as well as the soup, or else between the food material and the soup. And the soup is very hot in this case, so vapors are there as well as energy transfer will be there between the system and the surrounding, as a cup is not a insulated one. So this makes an example for a open system. So further moving with thermodynamic systems, we have some other forms of systems which has to be considered in thermodynamic analysis. In that, the first one is an adiabatic system. So here you can see a piston cylinder arrangement. A piston is made to move from initial state to the final state, producing work. So you can observe there is a work. So work is a form of energy, so energy interaction will be there, but the cylinder will be an insulated one, so heat transfer will be zero. As that, we can define adiabatic system is one which is thermally insulated from its surrounding. It can, however, exchange work with its surrounding. That is the thing what we have represented here. So as it is adiabatic system, so it is thermally insulated, no heat transfer will be there. But however, it can exchange work with its surrounding. That is the thing what we can see with the displacement of piston. The next system is homogeneous system. A system which consists of a single phase is termed as homogeneous. So you can see in this picture a glass of water. So if you measure the phase here, the water remains in liquid. Only one phase is identified here, as well as a tire with two elements. One is oxygen and nitrogen, and both nitrogen and oxygen are in same phase, that is in gaseous phase. Here water is in liquid phase. So what we can say, whenever a system which consists of a single phase, you can name it as homogeneous system. For example, you can see here air plus water vapor, or water plus nitric acid, or it may be oxygen plus nitrogen in a tire, or a glass of water in a glass. So next is heterogeneous system. So here the system will consist of two or more phases. So as we can see in the picture, a glass of water with ice cubes. So ice cubes are in solid phase and water is in liquid phase. So you can identify two phases here. One is liquid and one other one is solid. So we can term heterogeneous system as which consists of two or more phases. So for example, what we can have here is water plus ice, or water plus steam, or even water plus oil are the examples for heterogeneous system. And next one is a diathermic wall. This is another type of system, or sometimes it may be simply called as a wall. So there is a picture representing the process of diathermic wall. So it is the one that allows only heat to be transferred across it but not work. So here only heat transfer can be done but no work transfer will be made from the system to the surrounding. So you can observe here. So energy transfer takes place through the wall. So here only heat energy can transfer from one region to another, but there is no work transfer, as that you cannot move the wall. If you move the wall, so there is a displacement, so you can observe work, but we can simply say that in diathermic cases only heat energy takes place, heat transfer takes place, but not the work transfer. Moving further, we will see the next very important topic, which is macroscopic and microscopic viewpoints. So these are the two viewpoints which are used for analyzing thermodynamic systems. So normally a thermodynamic analysis will be carried out for the design of equipment for the required applications. So for that reason, so we have to either choose macroscopic or microscopic point of view. So for that reason, we are going to have discussions on macroscopic and microscopic point of view. So whenever a system has been chosen in a thermodynamics, the next step should be to describe it in terms of quantities that will be helpful in discussing the behavior of the system or its interactions with the surroundings. So an investigation into the behavior has to be done from either microscopic point of view or macroscopic point of view. So now we see what is meant by a macroscopic point of view, and later on we will say microscopic. So macroscopic point of view is a description of system which involves the specifications of few fundamental measurable properties of system like pressure, volume, temperature, composition, etc. Now we consider the example as of fuel in a petrol engine cylinder as a system. The chemical analysis shows that the mixture of petrol vapor and air before explosion and the product of explosions, which can be described by the chemical analysis. The volume occupied at any moment and the temperature of the mixture at any instant can be measured. Hence, the contents in the engine cylinder, that is system, can be described by specifying four quantities like composition of the mixture, pressure, volume and temperature. This type of description is called macroscopic description, or you can also call it as classical thermodynamics. The second point of view is microscopic point of view. So here a matter to be composed of molecules having certain position, energy at any given instant will be considered. These molecules change frequently as a result of collision for each molecule. The behavior of the system could be described by summing up the behavior of each molecule. For example, you take a glass of water. As you go on, add heat to the water. The movement of molecules takes place inside the water. If it is a macroscopic, we will simply measure the temperature and we will say what is the temperature after heating of the water. If it is a microscopic point of view, we are going to analyze the behavior of each and every molecule of the water, and we are going to sum up all the behaviors of individual molecules, and we are going to carry out the thermodynamic analysis. Such kind of study is known as a microscopic description, or we can call it as statistical thermodynamics. So this gives an pictorial representation of situation 1 and situation 2. So there is a piston cylinder arrangement. Piston cylinder arrangement. So air plus fuel mixture is considered here. So in situation 1, if we measure only the changes in the pressure, composition, volume, temperature, it gives macroscopic. In situation 2, if we see individual behavior of the molecules of air as well as fuel mixture, and summing up all those will give the microscopic point of view. Now we compare between macroscopic and microscopic point of view. So the first comparison is that in case of macroscopic, only a certain quantity of matter is considered without taking into account the event occurring at the molecular level. So we are not bothered about what is happening for the molecules, and we are only focusing on the matter as a whole. In microscopic, this approach is considered directly with the structure of the matter. So we will study the behavior of each and every molecule in macroscopic. Macroscopic point of view is also called as classical thermodynamics, and microscopic is also called as statistical thermodynamics. In macroscopic, the analysis requires simple mathematical formulas, but in microscopic, behavior of the system is found by using advanced statistical and mathematical methods, as their number of molecules are very large. The values of properties of system are their average values and can be measured easily by using instruments like pressure, temperature, etc. In microscopic, the properties cannot be easily measured by instruments like velocity, momentum, impulse, etc. It is very difficult to measure the properties or behaviors of the individual molecules. In macroscopic, in order to describe a system, only a few properties are needed, so the approach will be very simple. But in microscopic, large number of variables are needed to describe a system, so that the approach is very complicated. And these are the few comparisons between macroscopic and microscopic point of view. Moving on to next one. Now we see the characteristics of a thermodynamic system. So we make use of an air compressor with a control volume and control surface. So there is a work interaction and heat interaction for this air compressor as shown in the figure. So for thermodynamic analysis of an open system such as air compressor as shown in figure, attention is focused on certain volume in space surrounding the compressor. So you can observe here surrounding the compressor, and it is known as control volume. The control volume of a system bounded by surface, you can see here, the control volume of the system is bounded by surface, is called as control surface. And here the matter as well as energy crosses the control surface. And sometimes the control surface is also called as system boundary, and whatever the space external to the system boundary or the control surface will be called as surrounding. Moving on to the next one. So now we see the very important terminology related to thermodynamics, that is state, path and processes. So we make use of a piston cylinder arrangement. So the initial state is 1 and the final state is 2. The piston is taken from state 1 to state 2 by removing the weights, and there is a gas confined inside the piston cylinder arrangement. The dotted line here represents the system boundary, and there is a PV diagram with respect to piston cylinder arrangement. And point 1, point 2 here, point 1 and point 2 represents state and state points, and the diagram is called as state diagram, that is PV diagram. The line joining 1 and 2, you can see the lines joining 1 and 2 is called as path. The line is called as path, and the point A to B will be called as a process, and from point 1 to 2 to 1 is called as a cyclic process, and point A to B is called as a non-cyclic process. Now we see one by one. State. What is a state? So the point 1 and 2 represents the state as well as state points on the PV diagram. So state means here it is a condition of a system at any given instant. The state of a system is nothing but the totality of its property. In other words, it is a complete description of a system in terms of its properties. State diagram. So this is a diagram on Cartesian coordinate with two independent properties. Here we have taken pressure and volume as two independent properties being represented on x and y axis. This diagram represents the state of a system at different instants. Next is state point. This is a point on a state diagram showing the condition of a system at a given instant in terms of two independent properties selected on x, y axis. Next is change of state. In any operation in which one or more properties of a system, you can see here we have two properties, one is pressure and volume. So one or more properties of a system changes is called as change of state. You can observe there is a change of state from point 1 to point 2. Path. A path is a line joining successive state points. You can observe here. So the line joining successive state points is called as path, and it is represented on the state diagram. Next is process. So process is the transformation of a system from one state to another and is called as process. That is, one or more properties of the system changes. Next is cycle or cyclic process. When a system is given a state, goes through a number of different processes and returns to its initial state, the system is said to have undergone a cycle or a cyclic process. The properties of the system may vary during the cycle during the cycle when it is going from 1 to 2 or 2 to 1. But at the end, all properties must be restored to its initial value. And the last one is a non-cyclic process. So here, a system should said to have executed a non-cyclic process if its initial and final states are not same. You can see here the state point A and state point B are not same. So in that case we can say that so a system has executed a non-cyclic process. So this is all about state, path and process. So moving on to next one, that is thermodynamic properties. Even system has certain characteristics by which its physical conditions may be described, which depends on its state but not upon how the state is reached. For example, volume, temperature, pressure, etc. Such characteristics are called properties of the system. So these are all macroscopic in nature. When all the properties of a system have definite values, the system is said to exist at a definite state. So properties are the coordinates to describe the state of a system. So they are stable state variables. So therefore there are some other properties of a system which can neither be observed or obtained by mathematical operations, but only can be defined by means of thermodynamic laws. Two such properties are intensive property and extensive property. So intensive properties means these properties are independent of mass in the system, for example pressure and temperature, etc. Extensive properties means these properties depend on mass of the system, for example energy, volume, etc. If mass is increased, the value of extensive property also increases. Extensive properties per unit mass are intensive properties and are called as specific extensive properties, for example specific volume, specific energy, etc. So next we see a very important process to be considered in thermodynamic analysis, which is a quasi-static process. So quasi-static means it's almost, or you can say it as infinitely slowness. So quasi means almost, or you can call it as infinite slowness. So we make use of two diagrams here. One is on a piston cylinder arrangement which is undergoing non-equilibrium process, and another one is a quasi-static process. So first we see the non-equilibrium process. Let us consider a system as shown in figure. The system is initially in equilibrium and the state represented by the properties P1, V1 and T1 you can observe here. It is the initial state. The weight on the piston just balances upward force exerted by the gas. If the weight is removed, there will be an unbalanced force between the system and the surroundings. Due to gas under pressure, the piston will move upward until it hits the stopper here. The system again comes to equilibrium state, being described by states by the properties P2, V2 and T2. But the intermediate states passed through the system are non-equilibrium states which cannot be described by thermodynamic coordinates as in figure. And in figure, point 1 and point 2 are the initial and final equilibrium states joined by dotted line, which has got no meaning otherwise. Now, if the single weight is replaced with multiple weights of small sizes as shown in figure, and these weights are removed one by one, slowly the piston will move from initial state towards final state till the stopper, and these weights are removed one by one very slowly from the top of the piston. At any instant of the upward travel of the piston, and if the gas system is isolated, the departure of the state of the system from thermodynamic equilibrium state will be infinitesimally small. So every state passing through by the system will be an equilibrium state. Such a process but a locus of all the equilibrium points passed through by the system is known as a quasi-static process as shown in figure. So finally we can say a quasi-static with a meaning of almost infinite slowness is the characteristics of a quasi-static process and is thus succession of an equilibrium states. So a quasi-static process is also called as a reversible process. And this is all about your quasi-static process. So we'll move on to next, which is thermodynamic equilibrium. A system is to exist in a state of thermodynamic equilibrium when no change in any macroscopic property is registered if the system is isolated from its surrounding. An isolated system always reaches a state of thermodynamic equilibrium in course of time and can never depart from it spontaneously. Therefore, there can be no spontaneous change in any macroscopic property if the system exists in an equilibrium state. A system will be in a state of thermodynamic equilibrium if the conditions of the following three types are satisfied, that is, mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, and thermal equilibrium. Now we see one by one what is meant by these three types of equilibriums. Mechanical equilibrium. A system is set to in mechanical equilibrium when there are no unbalanced forces within the system and that the system is in force balance with its surroundings. If an unbalanced force exists, either the system alone or the system and the surrounding both undergo changes until mechanical equilibrium is reached. The next equilibrium is chemical equilibrium. A system is said to be in a chemical equilibrium if it experiences no change in either its chemical composition or chemical aggregation with time. And the third one is thermal equilibrium. So when a system existing in mechanical and chemical equilibrium and is separated from its surrounding by a diathermic wall, as we know, which allows only heat to flow but not work, and if there is no spontaneous change in any property of the system is said to exist in a thermal equilibrium. When this is not satisfied, the system will undergo a change of state till thermal equilibrium is restored. When the conditions for any one of the three types of equilibrium are not satisfied, a system is said to be in a non-equilibrium state and cannot be described by thermodynamic properties, which represents the system as a whole. And this is all about the session on fundamentals, concepts and definitions related to thermodynamics. Thank you so much. Please do subscribe to my channel, BR Mech Academy.